Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Tubi. And with that, let's get to the list. Tin Can is a 2020 Canadian sci-fi horror movie. Directed by Seth A. Smith, it stars Anna Hopkins, Michael Ironside, and Simon Paul Mucciamana. As the world faces a deadly plague, humanity's hope for a cure lies with a scientist who awakens imprisoned in a metal chamber, so she desperately works to escape her confined cell to save the last of humanity.
Welcome back. Help! Let me out.
So this was a first time watch this week for me. One of you guys mentioned it a while back and I finally got around to checking it out. And I'm so glad I did. This is a great little movie. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of The Cube. It has a lot of that same kind of feel and style about it. On top of that, it does have some similarities as far as being trapped in this cell and having to try to figure out how to get out of it. But as it goes along, it does change quite a bit and becomes definitely its own movie. There's some very unique things that happen in this. The look, the style, the pacing, the lighting, the directing, just everything about this movie I thought was really interesting, especially for as small of a film as this is. It gets strange and uncomfortable with some chilling, haunting imagery. I think this is an interesting one that's absolutely worth your time. Dark City is a 1998 sci-fi horror movie. Co-written and directed by Alex Proyas, it stars Rufus Sewell, William Hurt, and Kiefer Sutherland. A man struggles with memories of his past, which include a wife he cannot remember and a nightmarish world no one else ever seems to wake up from. This is one of my all-time favorite sci-fi horror movies. The fact that it's a mysterious neo-noir kind of sci-fi strange movie with an interesting look, it's unique and stylish, and unfortunately it doesn't get the love it deserves because when most people think of this era in movies, they think about The Matrix. But this predated it, and it does a lot of unique things. The look and style of it in general, it feels like a one of a kind. It's creepy and mysterious and uncomfortable, but honestly just a badass movie that takes some twists and turns and keeps you guessing all the way to the end. I think this movie is absolutely thrilling, and if you are someone who has yet to see this, do yourself a favor and make it the next thing that you watch.
It's time.
Love comes around a couple times if you're lucky.
Spring is a 2014 horror movie, directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. It stars Lou Taylor Pucci and Nadia Hilker. The film follows a young man who travels to Italy and pursues a young woman who, unbeknownst to him, harbors a mysterious secret.
I only get to see you at night.
Our nights together must remain a secret.
She acts kind of weird sometimes, and I found something that gives me some doubts.
On my last Tubi video, I recommended a double feature of Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead movies, and both those movies are fantastic, but this is another one that I just am in love with. It's so unique because it really does have this great romance in it, but it also is a mysterious, creepy horror movie. And you just rarely see those two genres mashed together. And when you do, they don't really work. But this does. This really works. I mean, you can't help yourself. You just really enjoy both these characters and you want to see them succeed. And at first, it almost feels like a slice of life romantic drama kind of film. but it takes a turn and starts to become more and more creepy and mysterious, and you start to figure out there's something, under the surface. But I don't want to spoil it, so that's all I'm going to say about it. But I just think it's a great little movie with really well written dialogue. It looks gorgeous. I mean, the cinematography and everything. I mean, it's in Italy and in this really beautiful small town. It just looks amazing. It's not anything that's going to scare you or freak you out. It's much more of an entertaining ride, but one that I think is absolutely worth adding to your list. Pollen is a 2023 psychological horror movie, written and directed by D.W. Medoff. It stars Ava Rose Kennard, Ashley Ames, and Tyler Buckingham. After a senior coworker assaults a bright-eyed young woman, her dream job becomes a living nightmare as she tries to keep her career together while being tormented at work, at home, and in her dreams by a mysterious creature.
Come on, just invite me inside. Do you want me to turn the handle for you?
This was another first-time watch for me while putting this list together. And this is a small movie, so you got to keep that in mind. Some of the acting is not that great, and the budget restraints show in that. But the lead does a great job with it. She really conveys emotion well. It does a good job of being this young, straight out of college, really hungry to be successful young businesswoman that gets wronged by this coworker, and it kind of sets wheels in motion on these different things happening. But it does a really good job of keeping you guessing on what is in her head and what is reality. And as the movie develops, that line gets more and more blurry to where you're really guessing all the way to the very end on what is really happening here. But for such a small movie, some of the special effects work here is really good, as well as the directing and pacing, and just overall, the way this movie is put together is well done. So you gotta go into this with the right expectations. Don't expect to be wowed. This isn't a game changer, but I do think with an open mind, this one's really entertaining.
When you say
Coherence is a 2013 sci-fi thriller directed by James Ward Byrkit in his directorial debut. It stars Emily Baldoni, Maury Sterling, and Nicholas Brendon. Strange things begin to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overhead.
Still not have service.
I got zero.
On the news, they're talking about the comet.
Yeah.
Wheeler's comet.
After it passed, people get lost, they would end up in the wrong home.
What?
And they keep telling people that this can happen.
This is one of my favorite micro-budget movies out there because it was done on I think a $40,000 budget, but it doesn't feel that way. This movie really, really is captivating. It'll stick with you after the fact and keep you guessing the entire time. It's also a tricky one to talk about because if you know going in kind of the basic idea of what this movie's about, it's gonna kind of spoil it for you. So all I'm gonna say is it's very sci-fi and mysterious and unnerving. But I think it's a great mind bender and one that's definitely worth checking out.
At the end of the day, people are out for themselves.
The Belko Experiment is a 2016 horror movie, directed by Dave McClane and written by James Gunn. It stars John Gallagher Jr., Tony Goldwyn, and Adria Arjona. In a twisted social experiment, 80 Americans are locked inside of their high-rise corporate office and ordered by an unknown voice coming from the company's intercom system to participate in a deadly game of kill or be killed.
All employees, lend me your full attention. Your chance of survival increases by following my orders. Your task is simply this. Kill 3 of your coworkers, or we will kill 6 others.
This is not the most original concept in the world. We've seen a number of movies do something similar to this. But I do think this one is still definitely worth checking out. It gets bloody, it gets super violent, it's fun and entertaining, while also being twisted and uncomfortable. Just the look of it, the way it's shot, it's done really well. And the whole cast is great here. There's a lot of different unique characters and individuals that you'll find yourself rooting for or rooting against. And on the surface, it is like things we've seen before, but it does have a few little unique twists and turns along the way. I think it's very entertaining if you enjoy violence, action, and gore. So for the right audience, this is one you should definitely check out. Daybreakers is a 2009 sci-fi horror movie, written and directed by Peter and Michael Spierig. It stars Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, and Sam Neill. The film takes place in a futuristic world, overrun by vampires, and centers around a vampiric corporation which sets out to capture and farm the remaining humans.
What happens when there isn't a single drop left?
These are desperate times.
We only have enough blood to sustain our population till the end of the month.
This is such a stylish, interesting movie because it really flips a lot of the things we see normally in vampire movies on their head. Because instead of it being humans going and hunting down vampires, it's flipped, and now it's vampires hunting humans. And I always think it's odd how overlooked this movie is, because if you're someone that enjoys sci-fi horror movies, this one's got a lot to offer. But like I said, the look and style of it is what really makes it special. It's really just a lot of fun. It does a great job of blending together action, horror, and sci-fi. So if this is one that you've never seen or it's been a while, I think it's definitely worth your time. Dagon is a 2001 Spanish Lovecraftian horror movie, directed by Stuart Gordon and loosely based on the H.P. Lovecraft 1919 short story of the same name. It stars Ezra Godin, Raquel Morano, and Macarena Gomez. A boating accident runs a young man and woman ashore in a decrepit Spanish fishing town, which they discover is in the grips of an ancient sea god and its monstrous, half-human offspring.
Where the hell is everybody?
Hello? We need help! What the hell's going on here?
Who are you?
I've been waiting for you.
Of all of Stuart Gordon's Lovecraftian horror movies, this one isn't necessarily what I would say is the best one, but it might be my favorite as far as its look and mood, because it does such a good job of capturing that creepy seaside village atmosphere, especially when the couple first gets to the town. Just that creepy, mysterious, foggy mood that's there. I just love that. It's just one of my absolute favorite things in any horror movie is that. And I also really love the directions that this takes. Like, as you kind of go down this rabbit hole and things get more and more fantastical and unique and interesting, I just think it's wonderful. It's weird, it's bizarre, it's uncomfortable. It's an absolute gem that's definitely worth your time.
I just want to go.
One BR is a 2019 horror movie, written and directed by David Marmor in his directorial debut. It stars Nicole Braden Bloom, Giles Matheny, Naomi Grossman, and Taylor Nichols. New to Los Angeles, a woman moves into a seemingly perfect apartment complex, but soon finds out there are dire consequences to breaking the rules.
Any pets?
No.
This is a real hidden gem. I've mentioned it a few times on this channel, but it's one of those movies that's really small, but doesn't at all feel that way. Because the way that it's shot, the directing, the pacing, and the cast, it just does not feel small. It's really mysterious and creepy, and definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's a real thriller nail-biter that goes in some directions that definitely caught me off guard. But if you enjoy intense, thrilling horror movies, this is one you should definitely check out.
You know, I'm not even sure I'm in the right tuning.
Deathgasm is a 2015 New Zealand comedy horror movie. directed by Jason Lee Howden in his directorial debut. It stars Milo Cawthorn, James Blake, and Kimberly Crossman. It's about two teenage boys who unwittingly summon an ancient evil entity known as the Blind One by delving into black magic while trying to escape their mundane lives, but instead unleash hell on Earth.
Those lyrics about hell, demons, and doom. What if I told you it's all real? I know. I was there.
This movie is a real riot. It's gory, it's gruesome, there's a ton of blood, but it is so much fun. It has a real great sense of humor in a campy way. It's one of those movies that's just really over the top with everything that it does. But there's so many surprises and wild moments in this. It's just a quintessential popcorn horror movie, one to turn your brain off and just have a good time with. But I think it's a perfect pick for this Saturday night. So do yourself a favor, grab your popcorn and your candy and enjoy! But that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel and when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week. I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew, to you guys over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys absolutely mean the world to me. And if you would like to help support this channel over on Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Or if you want to become a channel member and help support the channel that way, there's a button right down there that says join. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. And if you enjoyed this, click right here to watch me talk about 10 more movies that I think you'll enjoy. And I'll see you guys next time.